chair with a solid seat and preferably a higher back than what I have here, but this will serve its purpose for demonstration. And you want to sit right to the edge of the chair. So I'm actually going to turn sideways, so it will be easier for you to see. You want to sit right toward the edge of the chair, so you kind of walk to the edge of the chair. The tailbone is drawing back. If you were to put your hand in the small of your back, you should feel a slight inward curve there. If you feel your low back pressing out into your hand, walk the bones of your legs back a bit until you start to feel that curve come into the spine. And being on the edge of the chair allows you to do that because your pelvis will tilt a bit more. You can start with the feet wide, about a little bit wider than the hip bones, okay? The hands are going to come to the knees. You're just going to take a deep breath in and imagine that your crown of the head is growing up tall. And as you breathe out, draw the shoulders down the back. From there, nice flat back fold forward. Imagine your chest is peeling open from the collarbones, leading forward through the knees. Take a deep breath in with a flat back here, resting into the hands. And then push into the hands and start to round your spine really slowly. You're immediately going to feel that in the low back. You level up to neutral again. Deep breath in here. Full breath out, fold forward. Inhale with a flat back. Exhale, round it out. Inhale, tall spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, round up. Now from here, walk your feet in. I am going to turn back to face forward now so you can see what's happening in the body. Your right hand will rest to the chair. Your left arm is going to reach up. You're going to reach over to the right side, imagining that the lowest rib is coming up away from the hip, creating space in the waist. Deep breath in. And full breath out, reach a little bit deeper. So you're not leaning, you're just reaching through the ribs. So the left rib cage pushes to the left a bit. Now as you breathe in, you'll open up across the chest. And as you breathe out, you'll reach to close, imagining closing the lowest ribs toward the inner knee on the right side. Inhale, ribs open to the left. Exhale, slowly ribs close to the right. Last time, inhale, open. And exhale, closed. Coming back through center. You're going to take the left hand now, cross it over your right knee. Take a breath in. Open up across the chest as the shoulder blades drop down. And then ring out. Imagine you're twisting the spine around like a spiral staircase. Taking the low belly on the left to the low belly on the right. The rib on the left to the rib on the right. And then breathe in, lengthen the spine. Breathe out, twist a little bit deeper. And very slowly and gently come back through center. Take your hands to your knees again. Deep breath in, lift up. Full breath out, fold forward. Breathe in with a neutral spine. And breathe out, round your back. Taking the same series on the other side, left hand draws down, right arm reaches up. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, create space from the rib and between the rib and the hip. Staying here for about 3 breaths. If the arm gets tired, you can always rest it to the back of the head. We're just adding a stretch across the arm, but it's unnecessary. Breathe in, you reach the shoulder and the rib open to the right. Breathe out, close to the left. Breathe in, open to the right. Breathe out, close to the left. Last time, breathe in, open. And breathe out, close. Slowly come back to neutral. Release the right hand now outside of your left knee. Lift your chest tall, broaden across the collarbones, and then send right belly to left belly and right rib to left rib. Every breath in, you grow taller. And every breath out, you bring out deeper. Very slowly coming right back through center. Take a breath in, tall spine, and a breath out, fold forward. Long spine, breathe in. Round it out, breathe out. From here, you're going to slowly come to stand. So perhaps using something in front of you and using your hand to the back of the chair for support to come to stand. You'll come and stand behind the chair. For demonstration's sake, I'm going to turn the chair sideways. And your hands are going to be to the top of the chair. Again, more reason to have a little bit higher chair. Walking your feet back just enough so that when you fold forward, the chair doesn't get in your way. And you want the inside edges of your feet parallel like the number 11. So the general public tends to turn out a bit. Take a look at the inside edges of your feet and parallel them. Now bend your knees and imagine you have a bucket at your pelvis. You want to tilt that bucket forward and let your hands rest to the chair. From there, send the center of your chest over the chair and the shoulder blades down your back. Put some pressure to the big toe edges of your feet and the back of your heels so your toes are light. And then maybe you start to stretch the knees. Now, if that causes pain in the back, keep the knees bent. You'll still feel a stretch across the back of the legs. And as the body opens more over time, you can have the knees a bit straighter. But we're going to take a deep breath in here and a full breath out. Now you're going to bend the knees, sit low, and straighten the knees, fold. Bend the knees, sit low, straighten the knees, fold. So not fully straight, just straight enough that you can fold without pain in the back. Bend and straighten. Last time you're going to bend. Now straighten, hold here. Slowly use your hands to the chair, bend your knees, and send the shoulders over the hips again. Take your right foot forward and your left foot back. Straight front leg, or straight enough. You can have a micro bend in the knee. And again, pour water out of that bucket forward as you lengthen your chest over. So this is just a single leg stretch versus the double leg that we just did. Again, pressure to the big toe edge of that front foot and keep tilting that water out of the pelvis and sending the chest tall. So you should feel the back of that front leg there. Now you're going to bend the knee and straighten. Think of kneading the muscle. Bend and straighten. Last time you'll bend. Now straighten out, hold here. Bend your knee, walk your hands up, step up, and switch legs. Straight front leg, lift your chest. Now in this case, you do not want the inside edges of the feet parallel. You can turn slightly outward with the back toes on these asymmetrical one-legged choices. Lift your chest, open it, fold over that straight leg. Now if you're using a chair like this that it has a low back, you can always come up to knuckles to give you more height, and as you progress you can walk your hands down the chair or perhaps reach for the seat of the chair, but only if you're not feeling pain or pull in the low back. You're going to bend the knee and straighten the knee. Bend and straighten. Last time you'll bend. Straighten out, hold here, chest opens, collarbones broaden. That should release your back. Slowly your hands will come to the top of the chair, bend into the front knee to keep the back safe, and step up. You'll take your feet wider than your hips so they make a triangle under the body. Lift your chest up, nice soft bend in the knees so that you can fold forward. And begin to feel that stretch out the backs of the legs. Again, if it feels comfortable for you, you can walk the hands down the chair or perhaps to the seat of the chair. Otherwise, resting the forearms to the top of the chair is totally fine. And again, you can always straighten out the knees if it feels comfortable on the back. But the moment that you feel pull in the back, soften those knees and it should release. One more breath here. Slowly walk your hands up, keep a soft bend in your knees. One leg comes in and then the next. Standing at the chair with your hands on either the top of the chair or to the sides, you're going to parallel the inside edges of the feet once again. And I want you to think about the belly button pulling toward the spine. So we're not tucking the tailbone under, but we are finding neutral. So a typical stance is either tucked under, pouring water back, or tilted forward, pouring water forward. So maybe with your knees bent, find that place where you feel as though no water could tilt forward or back, and stand up nice and tall. Lift the chest, broaden across the collarbones. Imagine the pages of a book peeling open across your chest. And if the low back tends to pull here, pull the belly button in even deeper. It should release the back. Relax that. Take a breath in and a breath out. Next breath in, lift tall, belly button to spine, and breathe out, open across the chest, lift up. Imagine you're sending your chest up and away from a wall, but your hips are pressing in toward the wall. And relax. You can actually even do this against a wall. I have a bar here, but you could have your hands to the wall, lifting your chest up the wall, push your hips into the wall and peel away a bit. And then release back. Lift, press the hips, peel away, and come back. Lift, press the hips forward, lean the chest back, and come back to neutral. So same idea using the chair, but if you were to use the wall, it gives you some feedback against the body. And then from there, we're simply going to take this kind of marching in place. So you're going to take the right knee out wide and step it down, and the left knee out wide and step it down. Do this about 2 more times on each side. This is just getting the hip to open up a bit. Last time each side. And then you're going to stand away from the chair so that one hand rests on the chair. Come to the tips of the toes and just swing the knee from side to side a couple of times, loosening up across the hip. If that creates pain in the outer part of the hip or the lowest part of the low back, there's some sciatic compression. So we just want to come in and then to neutral, in and then to neutral, and that will help release as opposed to open and close. Okay? So we'll take the other side, tapping toes to the floor. You can either come in and back to neutral or open all the way out and come in. You'll do it about 4 times. 2 more. And 1 more. And then we're going to come back to seated on the chair. Slowly coming down to the chair, again making sure that the tailbone is back. Lifting your chest tall, folding forward, and then rounding your spine. This time, stay rounded, let your head hang heavy. You should feel the low back stretching out. Pushing the hands into the knees a bit to create a bit more rounding, and take a breath in and a breath out. And gently roll all the way up. Now you can stop right here, or if the back is feeling neutral, I'm going to have you take your right ankle and cross it over your left knee. Again, being a little bit closer to the edge of the chair might help you here. Make sure the foot is flexed so the toes are peeling back to the outer knee. And you're going to lift up and send the chest forward. What you should feel in the lowest part of the body is the tailbone kind of sliding back and lifting up so that we're not tucked under. We want to avoid folding in this tucked position. So again, those hips walk back and you feel that hinge from the hip itself. And you will immediately feel the outer part of the hip and the cheek on that right side. Just give it a couple of breaths here. And slowly draw up. We're going to take that on the other side, taking the left ankle up over the right knee, lifting your chest and folding forward. Only folding as deeply as your body allows. A few breaths here just to start to open that hip. And then slowly draw back to neutral, taking the left foot down. Again, this could be your next stopping point. The next variation we're going to take will require you to be on a flat surface, whether it's lying in bed, which might be easier to get in and out of, or lying down on the floor. And you want to have a belt or a strap or a long towel. So I'll show you a belt. This is a yoga belt, but you can take any kind of belt. You can take a regular pant belt as well. And you're going to find your way very gently down to the floor. And from the floor, you'll roll all the way back. And a really nice one to do when you're in bed, you could do this every day, would be to simply lift the tailbone up off the floor and imagine you're sending the tailbone to the heel. So there's that deep tuck. Okay, release down. Tuck the tailbone, send it to the heels. Release down. And you can do that 3 times. So here's the last one. Lift and tuck. Now, keeping the left sole of the foot on the floor, you're going to take the right knee into the chest. Knee comes in. You'll feel a tourniquet effect through the hip here. You can even cross over the body a little bit and immediately feel the low back. And then come back through center. This is where that strap or belt will come in, maybe even a long towel. And you're going to reach up and loop it around the ball of the foot, okay? This extends your grip so that you don't have to reach with your hands. And then you're going to kick that leg up toward the ceiling. Again, you can do this in bed, it's perfectly fine, as long as you can feel your entire spine along the surface that's under you. And you want to think about pulling the toes back toward that right shoulder. You're immediately going to feel the back of the leg. The knee does not have to be straight. Over time, it might get there. And then slowly take the belt into your left hand and let your right hand relax. Guide the foot over to your left side just a bit. Trust me, you'll feel it. It doesn't take much. And you certainly don't want to be coming up off of the hip. Tiny movement. And slowly back to center. Bend your knee a lot and release that strap. Take your left knee in. You can take the hands to the knee, or you can take the strap around the knee. If the knees are tight, the strap can come behind the knee to create space in the joint. You just want to feel a little bit of tourniquet effect in your hip here. Maybe cross over to the right a bit. You'll feel the low back twist and come back through center. You're going to reach up and try and loop that belt around the ball of the foot. And from there, straighten out the leg as much as is possible. Once you feel the back of that leg, that's where you want to stay for now. And just breathe. Notice the stretch that you feel when you breathe in. And notice places that are tight or holding tension as you breathe out. So make sure you relax your jawline and the corners of your eyes. Again, you're going to take the sides of the belt into your right hand, relax your left hand,
and a tiny movement across the body to the right as you start to feel the outer fibers of the hamstring and a little bit of your hip open up. And then come back to center, bending the knee and sending that strap or belt off of the foot. From here, let the arms come out like the letter T, and you're going to let the knees gently fall to your right side. They may not drop all the way down, and if you're in bed here, a pillow underneath that right knee will be just fine. But you will feel this right where the hip and the low back meet on the left side. Draw the knees up through center. Drop over to your left side. Again, maybe some support underneath that left knee. You should feel it right where the hip and the low back meet on the right side. And then the easiest way to come out of this would be to roll to one side, use your hand to the floor, and push up. It's getting up off of the floor that's the trick. So I would have the chair handy that you had just used, and take your hand to the chair and one hand to the floor and push up. And from there, simply stand and circle out the knees. And then bend your knees, maybe tilt forward and lift up. Take a breath in and a breath out. And if you do this about 3 times a week, it should keep you pretty neutral through the back. And certainly I would do it after coming in from any kind of yard work that requires you to be bending down. And when you are doing yard work, I would recommend a chair, if possible, to be seated in when doing planting, or a deep bend in the knees and pouring water out of that bucket so that you're not hanging off of the back, which is hard to maintain sometimes, but it's a lot easier on the back. Maybe even resting one hand to a knee so that you can reach down. That's going to be much easier on your body. And then coming up again, walking the hands up the legs so that you're not just pulling up through the musculature of the low back. All right, I hope that helps.